Amy McGowan, who is she? Amy McGowan is a former Jackson County, Missouri prosecutor who worked in said office for many years. After serving as a prosecutor in Jackson County, Missouri, Amy McGowan went on to be the chief district attorney, assistant district attorney in the Douglas County, Kansas prosecutor's office. Ms. McGowan has also worked as a prosecutor in the Shawnee County, Kansas prosecutor's office as well. Ms. McGowan has quite a checkered past. She has a string of wrongful convictions which follow her from the state of Missouri over into the state of Kansas. How many people have been wrongly convicted as a result of Amy McGowan and her corrupt, unethical acts of prosecutorial misconduct? So far, there are several in Missouri and Kansas. In Missouri, you have the case of Richard Buckley. Mr. Buckley, after serving 5 years in prison, had his case overturned by a local Missouri judge and was exonerated and set free from incarceration. In Mr. Buckley's case, Amy McGowan withheld exculpatory evidence. In Jackson County, Missouri, you also have the case of Mr. Ricky Kidd. Mr. Kidd was exonerated and set free from prison after serving 23 years within the Missouri Department of Corrections for 2 murders he did not commit. Amy McGowan then went on to do the same thing she did over in Jackson County, Missouri, over in Douglas County, Kansas. 2 of her cases in Douglas County, Kansas, the case of Robert Gray and Robert Peterson, were overturned as a result of acts of prosecutorial misconduct committed by Amy McGowan. Along with having several cases overturned due to her acts of prosecutorial misconduct, there were several cases the Kansas Supreme Court cited her for acts of misconduct by stating inappropriate, unethical comments during her closing remarks of multiple trials. And even though those cases were not overturned because of her misconduct was still notated, and she was held accountable by the Kansas Supreme Courts. Ms. McGowan, as a result of all of her acts of misconduct in Kansas, was asked to step down and not prosecute any serious felony cases. However, Charles Bronson, her supervisor, the head district attorney in Douglas County, Kansas, took it upon himself to politely put her back in that position of prosecuting serious felony cases, which leads to the next gentleman I want to bring up, which is Mr. Albert Wilson. Amy McGowan prosecuted Albert Wilson and sent him to prison for 12 years for a rape that he did not commit. There was no evidence of a rape at all, as well as there were several other things about the case that just simply did not add up. Mr. Wilson is actually now pending a hearing in Douglas County, Kansas, as a result of him not having effective counsel during his trial. Now, though we don't know quite what Amy McGowan did to secure Mr. Wilson's conviction, we do know that her method of operation is most definitely some type of misconduct, most definitely could have taken place. Now, here in Jackson County, Missouri, we also have the case of Keith Carnes. In the wrongful conviction case of Mr. Carnes, who has now been in prison for 18 years for a murder that he did not commit, Amy McGowan forced and coerced the only two eyewitnesses in the case to falsely implicate Mr. Carnes in said crime. Amy McGowan, after all these years, after all the wrongdoing she has done, is now finally being held accountable, as she is set for a disciplinary hearing on October 2nd, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. This hearing will be held virtually, and anyone who would like to attend the virtual hearing can do so by calling this particular number here, 573-638-2273. You can call that number 24 hours in advance of the hearing and schedule to attend the hearing virtually. People, it is very important that we begin to address the issues of prosecutor misconduct. It is very important that we hold these prosecutors accountable for their wrongdoing. This is a step in the right direction to hold Amy McGowan accountable, which will prayerfully lead to her disbarment. Amy McGowan thus far has only been connected to roughly 6 or 7 wrongful convictions, and 4 of them have been overturned. 4 or 5 of them have been overturned. But you can bet your bottom dollar that there are more people languishing in Missouri prisons as a result of what Amy McGowan did in their case. If she committed prosecutorial misconduct in these other cases, just how many cases? How many more cases has she done this in? How many innocent men and women are languishing in a Missouri prison or a Kansas prison because of Amy McGowan's act of prosecutorial misconduct? Once again, people, if you would like to attend the virtual hearing, which will be held on October 2nd at 9:30 a.m., please call in to the Missouri Legal Ethics Office at 573-638-2273, 24 hours in advance of the hearing, and request to be a part of said virtual hearing. People, change will not come about until we come together, until we decide that we're not going to put up with this type of unethical behavior by prosecutors here in our jurisdiction in Jackson County, Missouri. Please attend said virtual hearing. Step in and get involved. Because when we all come together, we're powerful. When we all come together, we can make things happen. When we all come together, we as a community can bring forth change.